You might think the biggest drama in the WNBA happens on the court, but one of the most talked about storylines of the 2025 season started not with a play, but with a silent video clip that quickly spiraled into a national debate. It centered around a May 22nd game between the Indiana Fever and the Atlanta Dream. Brittney Griner fouled out late in the contest, frustrated after a physical matchup in which she finished with limited production. Caitlin Clark, meanwhile, continued her strong form, adding another high-scoring performance to her already headline-grabbing rookie campaign. But it wasn't the box score that would dominate the next several days. It was what happened after the final whistle for Griner. Cameras captured Griner on the bench, visibly upset, reacting emotionally after her 6th foul. There was no audio, just body language and a few seconds of footage that would soon circulate widely online. Within hours, social media users began replaying the clip, slowing it down and attempting to interpret her words through lip reading. The lack of sound left room for speculation, and that uncertainty became the fuel for a rapidly growing controversy. The following day, the clip was posted on X by Riley Gaines, who suggested that Griner may have directed a racially charged remark toward Clark. That interpretation quickly spread, amplified by influencers, commentators, and political voices. The discussion escalated far beyond sports, becoming part of a broader cultural argument that blended athletics, identity, and media interpretation. Millions of views accumulated in a short period, and debate lines hardened almost immediately. However, the core issue remained unresolved. There was no definitive audio. Multiple interpretations emerged from viewers attempting to read Griner's lips. Some insisted they saw one phrase, while others argued it was something entirely different, possibly an expression of frustration directed at an officiating decision. Without sound, no interpretation could be confirmed with certainty. Several media voices urged caution. Analysts and commentators pointed out how unreliable lip reading can be, especially in fast, emotional moments during live sports broadcasts. Fact-checking organizations also reviewed the clip but ultimately concluded that the evidence was inconclusive, noting that no definitive determination could be made about what was said. The ambiguity itself became the story. Griner later addressed the situation publicly in an interview, denying the allegations attributed to her in online discourse. She acknowledged her frustration in the moment, consistent with what was visible in the footage, but rejected the claim that she directed any racially targeted language toward Clark. She emphasized that such language would not reflect her values or conduct, and reaffirmed her respect for her fellow players and the league. Despite her response, the controversy had already taken on a life of its own online, illustrating how quickly short, context-limited clips can evolve into large-scale narratives in the digital age. Meanwhile, another storyline was developing around Sophie Cunningham, adding a separate layer to the season's broader tension. Cunningham, previously a teammate of Griner in Phoenix, had built a new role with the Indiana Fever after joining the roster. Known for her physical style of play and outspoken personality, she became closely associated with the team's emerging identity around Clark. In a later game against the Connecticut Sun, tensions on the court escalated after a sequence involving multiple hard fouls and collisions against Clark. Cunningham responded with an aggressive foul of her own, resulting in her ejection. After the game, she criticized officiating standards, arguing that star players were not being adequately protected and that physical play had crossed acceptable boundaries. That moment quickly spread across social media as well, where Cunningham was celebrated by some fans as a protector-type figure for Clark. Her online following surged dramatically in the days that followed, reflecting how modern sports narratives often extend far beyond the game itself and into personal branding and digital fandom. At the same time, public figures and political voices weighed in on the broader controversy surrounding the earlier Griner clip, further intensifying attention. Calls for investigations and statements of concern added institutional weight to what had begun as an ambiguous moment on a bench. Through all of this, the Indiana Fever remained at the center of attention, not only for their on-court performances, but also for the narratives forming around their roster. Clark's rise as one of the league's most visible young stars, Cunningham's emerging enforcer persona, and the ongoing discourse around officiating and player safety combined to keep the team constantly in headlines. What ultimately defined the entire episode was not a confirmed statement or a resolved incident, but rather its ambiguity. A silent clip, multiple interpretations, and rapid amplification across social platforms created a storyline that different audiences understood in completely different ways. And in that sense, the 2025 WNBA season reflected a broader reality of modern sports media. Sometimes the loudest moments aren't the ones that happen on the court, but the ones constructed afterward in the space between what is seen, what is assumed, and what can never fully be confirmed.